the past several years have taught me that, both nationally and in Ohio, democracy and reproductive freedom are very intimately intertwined. And I think we see that in a number of ways. I mean, first of all, just kind of at a very abstract level, both democracy and reproductive freedom are about individuals' ability to govern themselves and decide the course of their own lives, right? And that is exactly what's at stake and what's under threat right now. But also, in terms of gerrymandering, I mean, part of why Ohio has had such extreme abortion restrictions passed over the years leading up to Dobbs before the Reproductive Freedom Amendment passed last November is because we have such a heavily gerrymandered legislature that ends up being not representative, right? And that draws the most extreme conservative anti-abortion politicians into the legislature. And so there's this really direct connection between gerrymandering and reproductive freedom in Ohio. And that's exactly why, we were suddenly confronted with the fact that actually 57% of people want reproductive freedom, despite the fact that we had such extreme abortion laws on our books in Ohio. So, that when you have direct voice and direct democracy, something very different emerges, right? But then finally, to close the loop on that with respect to this fall's election, again, something that you alluded to was that there's also an Ohio Supreme Court race this November, and we have this wonderful new constitutional amendment protecting reproductive freedom, but that amendment remains to be interpreted by the courts. And so again, those elected judges and justices will, have a say on what our freedoms really mean when those cases get up in front of the court. So to me, I think the democracy and reproductive freedom are just so deeply intertwined.